On March 12, 1905, the Springfield Public Library opened with limited hours and one staff member. In its first year, the library made around 9,000 loans. Now, 120 years later, the library operates 14 service locations and manages a circulation of more than 2.7 million items per year. Last year, we offered over 4,000 programs to patrons, issued 6,000 passports, saw our meeting rooms used 27,000 times, the internet accessed 500,000 times, and around 11 tons of fresh produce distributed from our community fridge. As our community has grown, so has its library. And our growth continues. This year, the Midtown branch reopened with improved accessibility. Construction on the 500-seat Hatch Auditorium at the Library Center is scheduled to finish later this year. And a new Republic branch, more than double the size of the current building, is set to open in 2026. These improvements open up new possibilities for serving residents of Greene County and the surrounding area. Healthy communities are held together by shared spaces where people from all walks of life can interact. The library is just such a place, and this function is more important now than ever. In an era of isolation, the library is a gathering place. In an era of misinformation, the library is a credible source. And in an era of conflict, the library is a place where everyone who enters is treated with respect and dignity. Library work in 2025 is not always an easy job. In recent memory, the pandemic brought unprecedented challenges to circulating collections and raised enforcement of behavioral policies to new levels. Public libraries today serve as places of refuge for vulnerable populations, including people experiencing mental illness, homelessness, immigration challenges, and trauma, stretching the traditional role of library workers. Book challenges across the nation have been on the rise, and though our library has been relatively unaffected by this trend so far, the news is troubling. And all of this while legislation at the state and federal levels casts uncertainty on vital revenue sources for libraries. If you have ever felt disheartened by any of these things, it's understandable. But when you visit one of our branches, remember the words of one young patron from earlier this year. This library feels like a magical place. The library is magical, and if you ever forget, a stroll through any branch may remind you. You might overhear the teen patron at the library station telling the librarian they have found their people. You might see staff gently assisting a patron overwhelmed to tears from struggling with legal paperwork. You might overhear a woman thanking staff at the Computer Training Center for their years of help in making her published memoir a reality. You might encounter a man learning to crochet so that he can complete his late wife's unfinished projects. You might see a couple at the makerspace making hats and tote bags to welcome their new grandbaby. You might see Willard police officers teaching kids about bike safety. And if it's a day when school is out in Fair Grove, you'll probably see bikes lined up outside of that branch too. You might come across kids creating their own construction site out of blocks after watching the construction of the new Republic branch. You might get to see the kid librarian at the Schweitzer-Brentwood branch learning all about the library and then creating her own book display. You might encounter a mom bringing her child to the same library she grew up with. And you'll definitely see little ones saying goodbye to their books as they place them in the return and then racing into the library to discover new ones. The library is magical, and whenever you visit, you are part of that magic too.